Hey, welcome everyone. We're on a series of what we're calling debunking the internet myths around COVID-19 and the COVID-19 vaccine. We've got a series of these going, and today I actually have a guest to debunk a couple of these internet theories that we have seen bounced around, because we want to make sure we get the right information out there. So I am honored to have an expert in this area, Professor Paul Richardson, who shares the same name with me, interestingly enough, and Professor Richardson is from Coastal Carolina University. And Professor Richardson, first off, I just want to say thanks for being here.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
And just give us a little bit of your background. Undergraduate school, where?
I went to Lebanon Valley College and got a bachelor's in biochemistry. I have a master's in medical immunology and molecular biology, and a P.H.D. in biochemistry where I focused on infectious diseases. So
definitely a ton of background into the basic science over this and whatnot. Currently, I know you're a tenured professor at Coastal Carolina University, correct?
Yes, I'm a professor of biochemistry and chair of the Department of Chemistry over at Coastal Carolina University.
Your research focuses on what now?
Oh, we do a lot of different types of viral research. We go into water and soil samples looking for viruses. We are looking for viruses to cure bacterial infections in human beings. And we are also developing some other tests that looking for viruses in mosquitoes and other organisms.
And I know, given the pandemic, a lot of your research is probably, you've been doing things around COVID-19. I know we've worked on projects together. CCU and CMC have worked on projects together.
Yeah, last year we developed in a joint project a test that we used on campus to detect COVID-19 and allow us to understand what the incident rate is on those people walking around campus.
Awesome. So basically what I'm trying to do with all that is to say Professor Richardson here is a true expert, in contrast to some that I've seen on social media and whatnot that are not true experts. This gentleman is an expert in this field, and I'm going to pose him a couple of questions that we have seen on the internet and just let him share his feelings. Professor, the first one is, the vaccine causes the production of spike proteins in a way that they cannot be, quote, turned off, end quote, and all this excess protein can get caught up in the brain, kidneys, ovaries, and testicles. Is that true or false?
That is false. So basically, the vaccine contains mRNA, which is messenger RNA. And basically what it does is it serves as an intermediate between DNA and making proteins. So when you inject this in the vaccine, it tells the body to produce these spike proteins. But like all mRNA, they are naturally recycled between 12 and 36 hours. So in that amount of time, all of the mRNA will be destroyed and recycled in a normal process.
So what you're saying is that mRNA cannot even exist beyond 12 to 36 hours, period, to continue to make copies?
No, there's natural things in the cells that will break down all mRNA. It's part of nature's ability to recycle materials.
Makes sense.
So there is no way it can exist for longer than that.
Okay. Second myth that we've seen out there, that the COVID-19 vaccine can enter your cells and alter or change your DNA. True or false?
That is, again, false. mRNA does not have the ability to interfere or do any alterations to DNA. As a matter of fact, it's an intermediary between DNA and producing proteins. It's a messenger. So it really has no way to mutate or do anything to your DNA whatsoever.
That also makes perfect sense. There's also, you touched a little bit on this about when you were in my first question about how mRNA works. But can you go into a little bit more detail about that, about sort of your understanding and research knowledge on how the mRNA vaccine, just how is that working? How is that?
No problem. So believe it or not, this type of vaccine is actually one of the safest types because it only requires the mRNA molecule. So there's no other things to cause an immunological response or a bad reaction. In this case, the mRNA enters your cells, and that particular mRNA molecule codes for a spike protein in coronavirus. It then produces that spike protein so your immune system can recognize it and learn how to attack it in the future. So it serves as an intermediary.
Perfect, perfect. I appreciate you being here. I hope that has debunked at least 3, if not 4, of those internet myths that we saw. Again, a true expert in our community. This is a real person. This is not some person on the internet and no one knows who they are. This is a real guy who is doing research every day over at Coastal Carolina University and who will give us straight information on what is and what is not true. Thanks, everyone.